Hello, good morning. Good morning. Today we'll discuss the remaining part of the centralization and decentralization. Okay. So we have been discussing the advantage of the centralization. So the centralization of authority and responsibility has the following advantage: the symbol of prestige. Okay. So whenever there is a centralization of the authority and responsibility, so it is a, we can say it is a symbol of prestige. We can say that if there is a centralization in any organization, then they will enjoy the centralization. That means they will enjoy the authority and responsibility, and it is the symbol of prestige among all the other organization. So because of the centralized power, the chief executive of the enterprise will get more power and importance, which is a prestige symbol for him. Uniformity in policy, decision, etc. As policies, decisions, and practices are made at top levels of enterprises, there will be the uniformity in them. Lower cost, better specialist means lower cost means a few number of specialist staff are required under the centralization as they are pulled up centrally, and fewer physical resources are required, which aim at reduction in operating cost. So that is the advantage of centralization. Better specialist means centralization aims at use of few highly qualified specialists as a quantum of their work and scope are adequate to support. Tighter control under centralization, all the facts are coming to the notice of the top executives, and he himself can use his authority to set things right. In this way, the centralization aims at greater and tighter control, means whatever the decision is taken, they are taken at the center levels, and therefore the continuous communication is there among all the levels of the management, whether it is a top level, say, middle level or lower levels. So there is always tighter control is there in case of the centralization. So flexibility and quick adaptability, since decision making is centralized, the organization becomes more flexible. It is able to adapt itself to change circumstances quickly and effectively, and it can react to change environment with a greater rapidity. Okay, the better coordination. Whenever we work in group, there should be the better coordination. Coordination leads to the better centralization leads to the better coordination between the different departments in an organization, and therefore the chances of conflicts of authority are greatly reduced. Duplication of work does not occur, and thus the efficiency will increase. Okay. So next is the personal leadership. The centralized system of management is characterized by the personal leadership, which ensures quick and timely decision making and implementation. Okay. So the personal leadership we can also develop in case of the centralization. So advantage, we have been discussing advantage of discuss advantage of centralization. Now we'll discuss the disadvantage of centralization. Actually, there should be the disadvantage of centralization. So bureaucratic leadership. The centralized management resembles a dictatorial form of the leadership, means dictatorship, where the employees are only expected to deliver results according to what the top executives assign them. Employees are unable to contribute to the decision making process of the organization and they are merely implements the decision made at the higher levels. So on this, we can say that there is a bureaucratic leadership in case of the centralization. So this is the disadvantage, because we have to just work whatever the orders we get from the top levels. So remote control, the organization executives are under tremendous pressure to formulate the decision for organization, and they lack control over the implementation process. The failure of executive to decentralize the decision making process adds a lot of work to their decks. Delays in work. So the centralization results in delay in work as records are sent to and from the head office. Employees rely on the information communicated to them from the top, and there will be the loss in the man hours if there are delays in relaying the records. So that is the disadvantage of the centralization, because we have to wait for the communication or the orders from the head office. Okay, so in getting the information from the head office, there may be the delay in the work. So there will be the loss of manpowers if there is no work at all there communicated to the groups or the workers. So they may sit idle and there will be the loss in man hours. Lack of employees loyalty. So the employees become loyal to the organization when they are allowed personal initiative in the work they do. They can introduce their creativity and suggest way of performing certain tasks. However, in centralization, there is no initiative in work because the employees perform their tasks conceptualized by the top executives. Okay, so whatever the work has is to be done in the organization, that is actually the conceptualized by the top organization. Therefore, the employees, they do not use their brains or their initiatives or their innovative ideas in performing any tasks. They just follow the orders given by the top management, and therefore the lack of employee liability may be there, and that is the disadvantage of the centralization. So next is the decentralization. Decentralization may be defined as a situation in which ultimate authority to command and ultimate responsibility for results is localized as per the as far as down in the organization as efficient management of the organization permits. It is carried out by the creating under the central organization and a number of autonomous units with mandates to operate as independent unit. So that is a decentralization. So a situation in which the ultimate authority to command and ultimate responsibility for results is localized as far down in the organization as efficient management of organization, means it is permitted. So there is no as such the decisions are taken at only the center level or the top level. It is not like that. So there is a decentralization of the power and authority. So it is carried out by creating under a central organization. Okay, the number of autonomous units with the mandates to operate as independent unit. So for the definition, it is clear that decentralization is a systematic efforts made for delegating authority. We have to delegate authority to the lowest levels in the organization. That is the definition of decentralization. It is a systematic efforts made, whatever the efforts that is must be systematic, and that systematic efforts made for delegating authority to the lowest level in the organization. So right to take decisions on vital matters will remain with the central authority. Even though this is a decentralization, the decision has to be taken at the different levels, but some vital matters are there, some important matters are there. For example, it may be the some salary or like that. That matters is generally taken at the central level. Okay, so that is the decentralization, means whatever the systematic efforts are made for delegating authority are taken at the different levels of the organization. Okay. Just a minute. But in case of the centralization, we have seen that all the decisions they are taken at the center level. But in case of this decentralization, the right to take decision on vital matters, means for example salary matters, as far as the monetary matters are concerned, means of money or financial matters are there, that is considered as vital matters, they are remain with the central authority. But when the lowest levels receive orders, they receive them with a necessary amount of responsibility and authority. There are four different types of the decentralization. Functional decentralization, this type of the decentralization occurs when the specialist departments are delegated in decision making authority. The most common departments are human resources, marketing, finance, and production. That is a functional department because they have to function functionally. Okay, so this is a functional decentralizations are there. Federal decentralization. This occurs when authority is divided between the different product lines of business. For example, a vehicle manufacturer could have separate truck, car, or bus divisions. Next is the decentralization, regional decentralization. The suppose it is a big country, for example, uh, TCS. TCS is the Indian multinational company. So this happens when a business such as a multinational has a basis in many different regions or countries. Each one has the authority over its own operations. Means TCS now headquartered in Mumbai, but it has its bases in the different regions of the country. America, then the European countries, okay, England, all over the world, the TCS has their bases, but their center office is located in Mumbai. So they are the regional decentralization means, for example, in America, they have given their responsibilities and power. So regional decentralization is given. For example, the TCS, which is operating in America, they have their own authority and power. They can use their own authority and power in case of the America. For example, if it is based in European countries, for example, in Switzerland, the TCS is also there. So the that regional power and authority is also given to their officers in Switzerland. So that is called as the regional decentralization. Next is the decentralization by projects. This occurs when a particular project, for example, the design of the new aircraft is given to the team involving people from all functional areas. So decentralization by project. Okay. So when particular project, for example, design of the new aircraft or design of any new, mm, we can say the engine of the train. Okay, it is given to the team involving people from all functional areas because it is a production unit. So whatever the production itself is a functional decentralization. So the it is given to the team involving people from all functional areas. Okay. So the criteria for decentralization, Bhattacharya DK has referred to Ernest Dell, who has listed the following criteria for decentralization. So number of decisions. The greater the number of decisions made down the management hierarchy, more is the decentralization. Okay. So as the number of decisions are taken more at the lower levels, then we can say there is the more decentralization. Importance and significance of the decision. The more important and costlier decisions made down the management hierarchy, the most is the degree of decentralization. Okay. So that is the more important and costlier decision made down the management hierarchy, the more is the degree of decentralization. Meaning is that more is the decision or the costlier decision is taken at the lower level of the management, we can say there is a more degree of decentralization. Efforts, sorry, effects of decision. The more functions are affected by the decisions made at the lower levels and in turn affect the organization structure, the greater is the degree of decentralization. Means whatever the function they are happening in the organization, if they are affected by the decision made at the lower levels, means at the worker levels or at the subordinate levels in the organization, then we can say that will affect the organization structure, and therefore it is a greater degree of the decentralization. So that is the effect of decision. If the decisions, more decisions are taking place at the lower levels, then we can say it is a effect of the decision at the lower level, and therefore there is a greater degree of decentralization. Checking of decision. The lesser the checking required on the decisions made lower down the management hierarchy, more is the decentralization. Checking of decision means whenever we take the decisions by the other people, managements always check their decisions. But when they check less number of decisions, that means the lesser the checking required. If somebody take the decision in the organization and they are implementing their decision, uh, okay, so that, and if the top management they are not giving any check, or they are not checking what the decisions are taken at the lower levels, because they have the faith that all the workers, all the subordinates, they are taking the decision. It is the decision they are taking in the interest of the organization, and therefore at that time we can say there is a lesser checking required on decision made at lower down the management hierarchy, then we can say there is a more decentralization. Decentralization is the best where no change has to be made. Decentralization is made where no change has to be made in a relatively stable work environment which needs not be influenced by the changes in the external environment. The degree of decentralization can be more. Okay, means there is no influence of the external environment is very less. Okay, so there we can say that there is a degree of decentralization is more. Factors affecting decentralization, the factors age burden on top executives. The centralization of authority puts the whole responsibility on the shoulders of the executives and his immediate group. This will put the executives in embarrassing position because he is overburdened with each and every aspect of management. So age of top executives. As the decisions are taken at the different levels, so there is no burden on the top executives for taking the decision. Facilitate diversifications. Okay, whenever there is a decisions are taking at the different levels, we can say it facilitates diversifications of products. Marketing is possible when divisionalization is generally based on the principle of decentralization. Even without diversification, a company can grow very large either in sales or employees and can be managed by one man, provided problems presented to him are limited in respect to his capacity and are not complex and varied. Okay, so that is for the facilitated. So next is provide a market and product emphasis. When a company is not in a position to satisfy its customers, okay, by supplying the products and fails very badly to face the competition, it is ascribes to the inefficiency of the highly centralized management. Okay, so the provide market and product emphasis. So in case of the decentralization, when the company is not in position to satisfy the customers by supplying the products and fails to badly to face the competition, it is ascribed to be the inefficiency of the highly centralized management. So next is factors affecting the decentralization. It encourages development of management managers. If the management is centralized, hardly one or two chance to take decisions on vital matters. This method provides no opportunity to others, either at the middle level or lower management, to develop their decision powers, nor give them a chance to show their ability, skills, or efficiency in handling matters independently. Okay. So next factor is the improve motivation. It has been observed that organization structure can influence the motivation of people within the company. If the organization structure is based on a sound principle, it also motivates managers to the highest productivity. Okay, so it improves the motivation. Motivation also plays the important factor, we can say important factor for the decentralization. Importance of decision. The importance of timely decision making it crucial factor that influence the decentralization of authority. We always take the decision, but we that should be taken at the crucial time. Okay. Importance of timely decision means we have to take the timely decision. If you do not take the timely decision, and if you take the decision when the time is already not in hand, then we can say that is not important. And as the time is to conduct that activity is delayed, and therefore importance of decision on the time is very important. Size of the organization. The size of the organization is another factor that affects the decentralization. Advantage of decentralization. There are various advantages of decentralization. Gives relief to the higher executives, facilitate managerial development. Okay. So delegating the part of their authority means what are the disadvantages of the uh, centralization, that will be the advantages of decentralization. It gives the relief to the higher executives by delegating the part of their authority to subordinates. Higher of executives will get some relief, and he can concentrate his time on important matters. In fact, decentralization is a means of expanding business activities. Next, facilitates managerial development as delegation of a part of authority of higher executive to the subordinates. The subordinates will get experience in discharging his superior. This will make the juniors to learn work and become capable for promotion. Promotes coordination. Because of the decentralization, juniors gets opportunity of promotion because of their managerial capability acquired through the delegation of authority by superiors. Naturally, it smoothens personal relationship and promotes coordination among employees. Okay, so it's promote the coordination. That is the advantage of decentralization, because the juniors, they also take the decisions and they are functioning over their decisions, and therefore uh, obviously it will promote the coordination among the juniors as well as the seniors. Promotes promotes greater motivation. Okay, the decentralization, we can say it promotes greater motivation by delegating greater decision making power on managers. Down the lines, imitative is prompted and they are motivated to the higher performance. Imitative is prompted means means we just in the competitive words, we always imitate other persons, for examples, and that sort of the competition is also required for the motivation. So whenever some good people, they are doing the good things, obviously the other, they are not good, they will just imitate them. That means they will just listen to them, they will observe them, and just by listening and by observing them, they will also follow their footsteps, and that will be the, we can say that is a imitative is prompted, and they are motivated to the higher performance. Next is the disadvantage of decentralization. The disadvantage of decentralization are as follows: increased cost. As decentralization increases the size of the organization, and each division will work in its limitation to reach the goal of organization as a whole. At the same time, the division will work to satisfy its goals, because there is a division of the work is there. Every activity The decisions are taken at the different levels, and therefore there is a decentralization is increases, and therefore size of the organization and each divisions will work in its limitation to reach the goal of the organization as a whole. Next is the need for the generalist manager. The effect of decentralization is that the organization has too much depend on the effective working of the divisional managers. Okay. So whenever there is a decentralization is there means of any division, the divisional manager is responsible for that. He use the authority and powers in case of the decentralization, and for that reason, for that division, the divisional manager is responsible, and therefore the effect of decentralization is that the organization has too much depends on the effective working of the divisional managers. Problem of coordination: as the organization expands and brings in greater degree of decentralization, coordination among the organization becomes an ever growing problem. Okay. So the conflicts of interest: as decentralization sets in and each department is required to function as an independent and profit making center, there is increasing pressure on department heads to make their department perform. This creates the conflicts of interest between the different departments. Okay, because as decentralization set in, each department is required to function. Okay, because the decision is taken by their own department, and therefore there are the conflict of the interest, because they have the more pressure on the departmental head to make their department perform. This create the conflicts of interest between different departments. Delegation: the concept of delegation. Delegation is a process where the manager divides the work assigned to him so as to get help from others in accomplishing the same. It involves the following four steps that are indivisible. Okay. So delegation of results expected. Sorry, the determination of results expected. So delegation means it is the process where the manager divide the works assigned to him. Whatever the work is given to the manager, he give to the his subordinates, and therefore he divide that work, whatever the work is given to him, so as to get help from other in accomplishing the same. How to complete that task? For completing that task, he take the help from the other subordinates, and that is called as the delegation. Okay, so the steps that are indivisible: determination of results expected, the assignments of the tasks, delegation of authority for accomplish these tasks, the exact action of responsibility for their accomplishment. We find differently that these four steps have three elements such as responsibility, authority, and accountability. अकाउंटेबिलिटी मीन्स पारदर्शकता, आपण म्हणतो पारदर्शकता पाहिजे कामामध्ये. रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी म्हणजे जबाबदारी आपण त्याला म्हणतो. अथॉरिटी म्हणजे तुमच्याकडे काही पॉवर आहे काम करण्यासाठी, बरोबर. सो these four steps: determination of results expected means whatever the results, whatever the tasks we are performing, we should always determine of the expected results. We should always get the expected results. For example, being students, if you expect the first class with distinction, then there should be always the results as per your expectation. That is called as the determination of results expected. Assignment of the tasks: whatever the task is given to him, he has to divide that task, and he has to assign that task to get the help from their subordinates in order to accomplish the same. Delegation of authority for accomplishing these tasks: whenever we have the big tasks, and therefore we have to divide that task, and we have to delegate that task to the different groups in order to accomplish these tasks. So we find a different that these four steps have three elements such as the responsibility, authority, and accountability. Delegation is the entrustment of the responsibility and authority to another, and creation of accountability for performance. Components of delegation. There are three main components in delegation. Okay, which are authority. In context of business organization, authority can be defined as a power and the right of person to use and allocate the resources efficiently, to take decisions, to give the orders so as to achieve the organizational objectives. Authority must be well defined. So there are three main components of the delegation, which are, we have discussed, that authority, responsibility, and accountability. Authority means in contents of business deal organization, authority can be defined as a power, okay, and the right of the person to use and allocate the resources efficiently, to take the decisions and to give the orders so as to achieve the organizational objectives. That is called as the authority. Authority must be well defined. Means whatever the authority is given to the manager, he has to use that authority, he has to use that power, and he has to allocate the resources to the group working efficiently. He has to take the decisions, use the order to the workers, so he can achieve the organizational objectives. That is under the authority. Next component of delegation is responsibility, because in the is the duty of person to complete the tasks assigned to him is called as the responsibility. A person who is given the responsibility should ensure that he accomplishes the tasks assigned to him. That is the responsibility. Whenever the task is assigned to him, there should be, the person should always complete the tasks assigned to him. The person who is given the responsibility should ensure that he accomplishes the tasks assigned to him within the time. So if the tasks for which he was held responsible are not completed, then he should not give explanation or excuses. Okay, so that is the responsibility. Suppose in case if he do not complete the task within the uh, certain time frame, then what will happen? He should not give the explanation for him for that, and not the excuses for that. Means we should complete the task within the time. Accountability means giving the explanation for any variance in the actual performance from the expectation set. Accountability cannot be delegated. Okay, so that is accountability. Accountability cannot be delegated. We have to remember this sentence. Okay, अकाउंटेबिलिटी म्हणजेच आपण मराठीत त्याला म्हणतो पारदर्शकता. ट्रान्सपरंट nature. Whatever we are giving the delegating the tasks, we are dividing the tasks, we are giving the resources to the efficient peoples, we are taking the work from them. That should be accountability should be there. Means explanation for various, for any variance in the actual performance from the expectation set. Okay, so accountability cannot be delegated. Steps of delegation. For achieving delegation, a manager has to work in the system and has to perform the following steps mentioned here with as follows. First is the assignment of tasks and duties. When you become the managers in any organizations, and when we gain experience, we gain skills, knowledge, and when you work in any organization, the duties or the power and authority is given to you, and the work is also assigned to you, and we have to assign that work to your subordinates. And the first step is we have to assign the tasks and duties to your subordinates. Second is the granting of authority. Whatever the work is given to you, we have to grant whatever the authority you have given by the management. We have to also delegate the authority also to some peoples for completing the tasks. So granting of authority, it is called as the granting of authority to some subordinates in order to accomplish the tasks we have given to them. Creating the responsibility and accountability. We have to create the responsibility also and accountability. Whatever the responsibility and authority is given to you, we have to, at the same time, when you are managers or leader in the organization, we have to also the create responsibility and accountability. Okay. Next is the considering the fact that the delegation of authority is the base of superior subordinate relationship. We may have the brief discussion on these steps as follows. Okay. So authority, delegation of authority is the base of superior subordinate relationship. So what type of the relationship is there between the superior and subordinates? First is the assignment of the tasks and duties. Delegator first tries to define the tasks and duties to the subordinates. He also has to define the results expected from the subordinates. Clarity of duty as well as results expected has to be first steps in delegation. Okay, we have to clearly define the duty as well as results expected has to be the first steps in the delegation. Second is the granting of authority. Subdivision of authority takes place when a superior divides and shares his authority with the subordinates. It is for this reason every subordinate should be given enough independence to carry the tasks given to him by the superiors. Okay. So whenever the task is given to him by the superiors, he should be given some independence to carry out that task. Means full power and authority should be given to him. Granting, that is called as the granting of authority. The managers at all levels delegate authority and power which is attached to their job position. Whenever we are hired as a manager in any organization, at the same time authority and power is also delegated on him for accomplishing some tasks in the organization. So the subdivision of powers is very important to get effective results. Next is creating responsibility and accountability. The delegation process does not end once powers are granted to subordinates. Okay, means it is not like that once we are granted the power to the subordinates, that means our delegation process is end. No, they at the same time have to obligatory towards the duties assigned to them. Responsibility is said to be the factor or obligation of the individuals to carry out his duties at the best of his ability as per the directions of superior. Okay, that is called as the responsibility, and it is the factor or obligation of the individuals to carry out his duty at the best of his ability as per the direction of superior. Principle of delegation. Delegation is one of the important element in organization process. So there are certain principles followed as guidelines for effective delegation. Meanwhile, you take the attendance. Okay, only 1 minute is there, and send me the attendance on my WhatsApp group, uh, WhatsApp personal WhatsApp number. Okay. So the principle of delegation by results is there. Principle of competence is there. Principle of confidence and trust is there, and priority of unity of command is there. Okay. So the principle of delegation by results means the purpose of delegation is to get the work done by another more effectively than the done by the delegate.